Hello there, and welcome back to Witchy Ways for Modern Days, the podcast where we dive deep into the magical, the mystical, and the often misunderstood. I'm your host, Brittany from Winslow Naturals, and today we are exploring one of the most intriguing figures in myth and magic, Lilith. You've probably heard her name before, maybe in witchy circles, feminist conversation, or even old folklore, where she's painted as something very dark and dangerous. But Lilith's story is so much more layered than that. Over thousands of years, she's been everything from a night spirit to a demoness to a divine symbol of feminine power. So, whether you are just getting to know her or you've already felt her presence in your practice, this might be the episode for you. So light a candle, pour some tea, get comfy with a journal or two, and let's dive into the world of Lilith, from demonized to divine. Let's go way, way back, long before Lilith appears in any religious text, to ancient Mesopotamia over 4,000 years ago. That's where we first see hints of her in the form of Lilitu spirits. These were considered wind or storm beings, feminine, mysterious, and associated with disease, infertility, child death, and night terrors. They weren't seen as evil exactly, more like wild forces that were not capable of being understood. One of the most famous images connected to Lilith's early roots is the Bruni relief, also called Queen of the Night. It shows a winged naked woman with bird-like feet flanked by owls standing on lions. Some historians do believe this could be an early version of Lilith, not as a demon, but as a powerful night goddess. Others think it could be Inanna or Ishtar. The truth is, we can't say for certain, but the imagery is quite clear. This is a figure of feminine power, sexuality, and deep connection to the mysteries of the night. And then, in the Hebrew Bible, there is one brief reference. It's in Isaiah 34:14, to a creature called Lilith, or Lilith, depending on the translation. She's called either a night monster or a screech owl. It's a very small mention, but it does suggest that whoever wrote it expected the readers to already know who or what Lilith was, meaning the legend was already alive in the cultural imagination, even then. Now fast forward to medieval times, when Lilith re-emerges in a big way, in a curious text called the Alphabet of Ben Sira, which was written sometime between the 8th and 10th century CE. So this is where we get the story of Lilith as Adam's first wife, which is the version a lot of people are familiar with today. In this version, Lilith is created from the same earth as Adam, not from his rib like Eve would be. They are equals. But when Adam insists she lie beneath him during sex, Lilith is like, nope. She refuses to be submissive. And when Adam won't compromise, she speaks the secret name of God, which is huge and a big no-no, and literally flies out of Eden. Bold, right? The story continues. 3 angels, Sinoi, Sansanoi, and Semengelof, are sent to bring her back. They find her at the Red Sea birthing demons, and she refuses to return. The angels threaten to kill her children unless she obeys, but Lilith stands her ground. After that point, she becomes known as a demoness who endangers infants and tempts men in their dreams. In response to this, people began hanging amulets with the angels' names to protect newborns and sleeping men. But if we look past the scary folklore, what we really see is a woman who chose freedom over obedience. She refused to be ruled, even by divine order. And that's what made her dangerous in the eyes of tradition. As Lilith's story evolved, it found its way into Kabbalistic mysticism, where things get a lot more symbolic and layered. So in Kabbalah, Lilith is not just a rebellious woman. She becomes a metaphysical force, a dark goddess, a necessary shadow in the cosmic balance. She's sometimes paired with Samael, who is the dark counterpart to the angel Michael, and together they form an oppositional divine couple, kind of like the flip side of Adam and Eve. It's intense. In the Zohar, one of the central texts in Kabbalah, Lilith represents seduction and chaos, but not in a simple bad guy way. She is part of the divine structure, the shadow side that masks growth and enlightenment. She also shows up a little bit later in the Qliphoth, the shadow realm of the Tree of Life, where she rules over the hidden places in our psyche, especially the parts that we are told to repress. So rather than banish her, mystics began to understand that Lilith did have a role to play here. She helps us confront what we've buried. She is the guide through shadow work. She's the temptress that forces us to question authority, question ego and control. And that is sacred, necessary work. As the timeline moves on, Lilith continued to inspire art, poetry, and imagination. During the Renaissance, Michelangelo painted her as part woman, part serpent in the temptation and fall of Adam and Eve, a visual that combines Eve and Lilith into one powerful, dangerous image. Then in the 19th century, Lilith became a muse for the Romantic movements. So take Dante Gabriel Rossetti's Lady Lilith, for example. So this painting is quite striking. It's of a red-haired woman brushing her hair in a mirror. She's gorgeous. She looks self-possessed, also a little bit unsettling. So Rossetti did describe her as a woman whose beauty is dangerous, which is a theme that we hear repeatedly in Lilith's story. In literature too, she shows up again. So over time, Lilith becomes a symbol for any woman who doesn't fit the mold. Too bold, too sexual, too independent, too unapologetic. Now let's talk about her modern resurgence. In the 70s, during the feminist movement, Lilith was reclaimed as a powerful symbol of resistance. Jewish feminists like Judith Plaskow retold her story not as a cautionary tale, but as a triumphant one. Lilith wasn't a demon. She was the first woman to say no, the first woman to walk away, the first feminist. So today you'll find Lilith invoked in feminist ritual, goddess circles, and magical practices the world over. She stands for autonomy, sacred sexuality, rebellion against control, and reclaiming the wild feminine. She is fierce and unapologetic. Her animals, which are owls and serpents, represent wisdom, mystery, and transformation. In witchcraft, she's often called on for shadow work, for protection, for baneful magic, and for personal empowerment. She doesn't coddle you, but she will walk you through the fire. And if you've ever been called too much, Lilith is the one who will remind you, maybe too much is exactly what you want to be. So how do you work with Lilith? So first, you need to understand she is not the type of spirit you command. She is one that you have to invite, one that you approach with honesty and respect. If you're drawn to her, start by learning her story. Set up a space with a candle. Black or red is going to work the best. Perhaps include some symbols like owls, serpents, mirrors, obsidian even. Sit in stillness. Ask yourself questions like, where am I silenced? Where am I giving up my power? Where have I placed myself, made myself small to make other people comfortable? Lilith's energy can be super intense, especially during the dark moon. So you might journal with her at that time, or even just speak your truths aloud in her presence. Some witches draw her sigil in rituals for protection. This is her sigil. Or when they need to stand their ground. Others keep her altar lit when they work through shadow aspects or deep transformation. Working with Lilith isn't always comfortable, but it can be deeply liberating. So from ancient wind spirit to feared demon to divine archetype, Lilith's journey is unlike any other. Her myth has endured not because she fits anyone's expectations, but because she didn't. She challenges us to ask the hard questions about power, desire, freedom, and the roles that we've been given or roles we've been denied. She is the wild feminine, the sacred rebel, the one who said no and never looked back. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the myth and magic of Lilith. If she resonates with you, this might be your invitation to dive deeper into your own story, your own power, or your shadow. This has been Witchy Ways for Modern Days. Until next time, stay wild and stay wise. Blessed be.